Hello, Nadine. How to see you? We finally made it.
We made it. It's a little bit more complicated
My
because
goodness.
we fly. You flew to France, and
Yes.
we can't wait to have some news from Saint-Tropez and from the French Riviera.
Yes, I was able to fly to France.
Lucky
And
you.
yeah, thank you. And yeah, people are still very careful with COVID and stuff, but they are like I don't know. They have more smile, and it's sunny, and it's warm.
Some tourists around you, or you
Yes.
just with your family?
I'm with my family, but there is some tourists as well. But mostly, there is not much Americans, unfortunately.
No,
Usually, there is a lot of Americans at this time of the year, but like I guess we need to cross our fingers, and hopefully in July it will be open again, and people will be able to come back to this beautiful village.
It should be wonderful. It should be. It must be quiet at the moment, and it's nice.
Yes, it's a kind of it's quiet for Saint-Tropez. It's quiet. Yes.
Yes,
it's usually much more
a new experience. Good.
Yes, and clubs are still closed, and
okay.
So it's not back to normal.
We need to take some time to be safe, but I'm sure you'll have a wonderful time.
Yes.
So today we have a conversation about French design and tips about what is interior design.
I can't wait. Do you hear me well?
Yes, very good. The connection is now perfect, so no problem. So we were having the idea of giving some details about how French people like to have their interior made. So there is an idea that French interiors are refined and effortless. I don't know why, because to me it's just natural. But it sounds like view from the American point of view, it looks like it's a little bit more less formal and
maybe more complicated, and there is so many style in France and in Europe in general. There is so many influence.
Of course.
And you were
we can't hear you anymore. We don't hear you, Claire.
Shoot.
Yes,
no,
better.
I was just saying that you know, there's so many influences in France, and you were born in it also, Nadine. So
of course.
For you, it's natural, of course.
And yeah, that's correct. We born and we grew up in a mix of environment and historical piece and different influence of design, because all Europe is different, and when we travel, we have a view of very different inspiration and historical pieces and modern pieces, and we try to adapt and to adjust and to make a mix of everything. But what is very typical in the French interior design is that, first of all, you have to take care of having a look at the bones. How is the structure of the space you're looking at, and how, for example, on this picture, we can see that there are historical part of the building and modern parts, and you have to take care of how it looks like and adapt the design. So here it's a sample, but obviously in this space, for example, it used to be a two-room apartment, and we had to open it, but to keep the structure to keep the structure alive and make this small separation between the two rooms, to keep the original idea, but to make it more fluid and more larger. Can you hear us, Claire? I'm not sure you can hear me talking. But anyway, so take care of the bones, look at the spirit of the space. For example, here we have a view of a wonderful apartment in Lyon. I thought you would like it. This is
oh yes.
a
Can
very...
I have it, please?
So in this space, you see the structure is very interesting, and they try to keep the light floating around. I think it's an apartment on the river, on the Rhone. So it's a beautiful light, and they try to adjust to make this dining area with a connection with light between the main living room. So it's really interesting to keep the structure of the space, because it has already a story and a kind of flair, and it's really important to not to hide those details, but to make the most of it, and to adapt the way of living also in the space. Another example, of course, here it's very typical of how you improve with decoration, how you improve.
Are you able to hear me, Nadine?
Sometime, not always. Now the connection is really poor. I can see you don't hear me. Maybe we should try again later. Hello, Claire. It's frustrating. You cannot hear me. I don't like to talk all by myself. Claire, can you hear me? Okay, anyway, I was just saying that first point, look at the bones of and the structure of the building, and make the most of it. And then you can add some piece of design and check the result and move things. It's to start with classic. Most of the French people, they as we say, they have in their background, they have pieces they like, they have history. Can you hear me, Claire? I think I was talking.
Yes, I can hear you again. No, I can hear you again. It's very complicated. The Wi-Fi is very complicated at the moment. I'm sorry.
Okay, so
do you hear me well?
Yes, now I can hear you. Let's try to I was just...
I can see going the styles and
yes. The idea is that, as we said, we grew up with many influences and European design. So we have some classic in our mind. This is a sample of a very well-known pieces from Mies van der Rohe. It's a Barcelona daybed from the 30s in the 20th century. And when you have something like one idea, something you like for example, this piece, it's a great starting point. You just choose one piece, you learn about it, and then you build your design all around this project. And of course, the idea is to mix everything. In France, we don't care about the century of the piece. Here on this picture, you can see a mix of 19th century lamp, vintage desk and chair from the 50s probably, and a very contemporary picture, a piece of art. So everything is mixed all the time, and that's what make a very interesting style. For example, here we have a mix of a Chesterfield sofa that is probably from a flea market. And in front, they put a wonderful industrial coffee table. On the side of the sofa, you have a vintage table. You have piece of art on the wall from many influences, and all the result is a mix. You don't have to care if it's connected or not. The idea is that it's well balanced. You can see that they pick some colors to make a red line all connecting all the pieces. It gives you an idea that all era can connect with another one. There is no problem with that. For example, here you have maybe it's not very easy to see on that picture, but you have a mix of very 18th century sofas and chairs with some from the 60s, a mix of colors, a mix of styles, and it makes the place very interesting, very original. This is
it's very
the
colorful,
famous,
very happy
yes,
style.
This is the Renoma Cafe in Paris. So we have some Renoma piece here at the French apartment, and this gives you an idea of how Maurice Renoma likes to also mix all the pieces. The design is not all from his collection, but he likes to go to the flea market and to assembles very different project and type of design together. The idea
there's
also
many styles in on this picture.
Yes, it's really vintage, 18th century, modern photography, contemporary photography, vintage lamps. Here we have something very different as well. As we say, take care of the bones, take care of the structure. So here the structure is really interesting, and then you put something very different. So you be audacious. Don't be afraid to mix those influence. It's really a shock when you see the colors and when you see the style.
Yeah. The opposite style are very attractive, like with each other. Like it's beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah, this is a view from a picture from the La Chance design, but see how they mix their collection with an environment which is completely opposite. Yes, exactly.
I love it. I love the old style. It's what, 18th century?
Yes, it's probably a country house from the 17th or 18th century. Yes, the walls are left very natural.
Very raw.
Very raw, exactly. Here, this is a very different style. It's not my style, but it's from a designer called Jean-Louis Degnaud. So his idea is always to say, he has his clients, customers, do you have a family piece, something you like? And then he works on it as the customer, the client would do it himself. He doesn't want to be it just helps him. The idea is to make the result looking very personal. And so
it's very interesting. And the black walls, like with the old frames and pictures.
Yes.
And even which style is the furniture on the wall, like on the right side, the drawer? Which style is that?
It's probably a mid 20th century, something like from Art Deco. Epoch, era, and style. And on the pictures on the wall on the left, you have some 18th century artists combined with very contemporary painting. But again, we don't see very well on the floor, but it's also very contemporary carpet and Art Deco furniture.
Even the beds. The bed is very interesting.
Yeah, the bed is. I'm not too sure it's really French.
Yeah, it's like a licorne.
Yes, it's a original piece, not very common in Paris, but yeah, the idea is that you mix what you have in your family story, some old pieces that you love, and then it has to come naturally. Here you have a very easy way to combine very sleek contemporary kitchen cabinets with a 19th century Rococo table and some...
it's again in Lyon? in the beautiful house in
Yes,
Lyon.
this is a wonderful designer called Maison Inde, which I love very very much. And here they have combined a collection of vintage chairs from the 60s and also very raw stool from the countryside, very basic and very simple lines on the right side of the picture. So it really gives you the idea that combining styles, it's something that French people make it very easily. They don't like to follow the rules. They like to be very personal. They like to, you don't have to be afraid to make a faux pas or to be afraid that people would say, oh, this is not the same, it doesn't fit together. What you like can fit together. It's just the way you balance it. And it's always fun at home because I always ask my husband or my family to help me move furniture, because the idea is some pieces can go well together, but you have to put them at the right place. So it takes time to really
Yes.
adjust where to put the
To find out
details to make the balance.
Yeah, but at the
So
end,
for example,
it's so much more interesting.
Yeah, it is the way we like to see the interior. So it's a mix here. It's a mix of a Japanese plate that I bought in a flea market in Tokyo. Here it's a 18th century dish from Sweden that the Galerie Provenance likes to offer to her customers. So the idea is to look at pieces that have a story. Here, this is a new piece that we have here at the French apartment, but look at the patina, look at the way it has a story behind the object. It's not, it's new, but at the same time, it has the whole background of the designer, which is Vincent Collin, and it brings the same flavor to your room if you want to give some patina, some style. So that's the way we like to do it. Another tip that I think is very Thank you. Another tip is, as you can see here, it's totally undone. So it looks like it's not finished. The painting is still on the floor. The bed is not over decorated. It looks very natural. So it's a simple environment, but it's a very easy place to live. And in my place, I always have a lot of pictures that stays on the side on the floor, but it makes your room and your apartment.
Yeah, and it gives you the idea of the lifestyle of the people living in this environment.
Mm-hmm. And it's give a kind of, as we said, effortless interior and very nonchalant style, which is at the same time can
relaxed,
be quite
people
elegant.
living in
Another idea is to avoid overstaging. Yes, not too much details.
There's not too much
you can see on the cabinet. It's supposed to be a way a place where you live. So what's in the cabinet, it finally looks nice, but it's also very useful, and it's arranged in a useful and meaningful manner. It's not supposed to be just as it is on the magazine. But at the same time, sometimes you like to have something a little bit more, a touch of glory, something to balance the undone rooms. You can have a room which looks like a little bit more sophisticated. And the French people, they like to have easy corner and at the same time a more sophisticated area in the apartment. So you can sometimes decide to have something more sophisticated, more traditional, or a mix of here, like a very very modern lighting in probably 18th century. So this is the. Sorry, we don't hear you very well, Claire. I'm so sorry. I can. Oh, the connection is not good enough. I cannot follow what you're saying.
It's okay.
I'm sorry too. I'll keep going so you can.
Yes.
So another idea is that the space can evolve naturally. So for example, on this picture, it's a very nice living room and you feel it feels very comfortable, but you probably feel that at one point the color of the sofa might change, or the color of the table might change, or so pieces are supposed to evolve in the time. It's not supposed to be totally done and finished. French people like to remove one piece, move to another one, and not have the whole concept frozen
Forever.
as it is completely finished. Here, yes, here for example, this is a, a, a study room to become. Probably the people are very happy to work on this space. It's really light and really really
beautiful.
attractive. But at the same time, as we say, the frames are still on the floor, and probably after a few months they will decide that this frame would be at the right place on this wall or not. It will take some time before it looks a little bit more, but less is better. So we like it when it looks a little bit undone and still on the way.
Messy.
Yeah, it's a lazy way as well to do interior decoration, but it makes it very different, very livable.
Yeah, it's very charming.
Yes, and what is always very important, and we can see on this picture, is the light. I think the light is also always the key of of a nice interior. Yes. As we said, an interior space must be livable and usable. So it can be nice, it can be a mix of many things, but at the end you have to be able to have a function. So of course you have to have comfortable chairs to have dinner, even if it's an informal dinner. It's also sometimes a mix of formal and casual. So you can live your everyday life, but if you want to have a formal dinner for one night, one evening, it's very easy to make it a little bit more sophisticated, to put some flowers on the table and make it nice.
All those styles are so beautiful,
yes.
Nadine.
Thank you. This is again from La Chance, and this is the tip: less is more. So when you have a beautiful piece, a standing piece, something you like, for example, just one frame on the wall, or just one seat, or a mix of both, that's enough. You have told a very personal story, and make when you enter this room, it's probably the side of a bedroom or something. It's very simple. It remains light, but it's very.
Is this what we call also the minimalist style?
Yeah, it's a way to say it, of course, but at the same time, you see on the wall that the frame is probably from the 18th century. It's very goldish, very traditional. Yeah. So, but to mix it with something very modern makes it interesting, and of course not too much pieces, just one or two. It gives you an idea of the personality of the people living there, and I really think it's a
I really
easy
appreciate
way.
your opposite style like this.
yeah,
it's very interesting.
And it makes this contemporary chair looking a bit classic because of the gold legs on the bottom that reminds the 18th
frame.
century of the frame. Yes, exactly. What is very important also in French interiors most of the time is that you go to the flea market, and when you go to the flea market in Europe or in France, you pick up chairs and you mix them, and it makes you like a very easy way of living in the dining room. Here you have a very typical French Parisian apartment with a mix of pieces from the flea market in a very nice room, because it's very light. This is with a light, very nice window and very interesting floor and
70s
and chimney and the fireplace. But people, there is a word in French which is chiner, and you probably understand that chiner is to go to the flea market to find the right piece. It's not to just to buy something,
to find
the piece you like, the piece that could be the one you had for centuries in your family. And that makes you feel comfortable and give a touch of history in your interior. And also the idea is to reuse pieces. And here, for example, this is a picture from a French designer called Sarah Lavoine. What I like here is that probably she had her client. Yes, probably they had already one sofa, and they needed to arrange a new way in the living room, and they found a second one. And instead of putting buying two new sofa, they kept the old one. They connect with the colors and with the shapes. But again, it makes it very personal. It makes it very different, and the result is gorgeous, because it looks simple. It looks natural, and it's probably what you won't find in another apartment or in another family. Yes. And here again, as we say, we love going to the flea market and to pick up pieces. We also don't mind if there are imperfection. Look at this table; it's a very lived-in dining area. And it makes it charming. If there is a scratch on your leather sofa, or if there is stains on your wood tabletop, it doesn't matter. It goes in the idea of yes. We don't hear you. I'm so sorry, Claire.
I was saying it tells.
Not too much. Sorry. No, it's not easy to listen to. We don't hear you very well. One more idea is to use the color to connect styles. This is a very old country house. You can see the whole wooden doors on the side, the very high ceiling. Probably there are beams on the ceiling. So it's a dark environment, but then they put a modern sofa, a mix of contemporary furnitures, probably old pots on the left side, and the whole thing is connected by the color and this beautiful wallpaper on the back.
This is
yes, we hear you.
The jungle behind.
Exactly, and this is again interior from La Chance. But the idea is to use color to connect different styles, and it makes a very very tasty place, very interesting place. It's also nice to mix materials. textures, because it gives some depth to the room, and it's always interesting to have different. Here you have a good sample of a very raw structure, texture on the back on the wall, because they just left the very old wallpaper that they tried to remove, but finally they liked it, so they left it, and they just put a blue color on the table to make a connection with this very old paper wall. And I think I'm done with the. No, here we have a very nice view of a Parisian apartment, with always the idea that less is more. So I think the idea is to keep that one statement piece, very, very little details around. That's enough to make a very gorgeous interior, very simple, very easy to live, probably very comfortable, but we're not too sure on this picture. They probably have some small sofa inside.
Do you hear me, Nadine?
Yes, now I hear you.
Wonderful. So the idea is to keep to go around one piece, maybe to keep the one piece, the one important piece in the place, the light, of course, and go around it.
Exactly, and
mixing styles.
Yes, that's the and also look at the structure. We say the bones of the room. Keep one piece or one family piece or one piece that you find really lovely and attractive, and then you build around. Yes, you build around. Just little, you put, as you can see here again, the painting is still on the floor. You leave it for a while. You see if you like it on this wall. Maybe it will completely change, and you will move it to the other wall a little bit later. But it remains very easy, and you don't feel you're in a very constructed and a very frozen style. And
it's like changing clothes every day.
Exactly, yeah, like having a Chanel black dress. And you change accessories. So you have your masterpiece, and then, yes, French interiors are like fashion. You don't follow fashion, you just follow style, and the style is very personal, and you can move details all the year long.
Absolutely.
In the summer, during when the lights change.
This is very interesting. This is very interesting what you're saying. Like it gives great tips, I'm sure, for our audience, and because sometimes you just don't know, you go with your instinct and you just don't know what to do, especially when you need to buy.
Where are you? We miss you. Yes, so the most important thing is to be confident in yourself, and you don't be afraid to try things.
Yes,
interior designers are here to help, but you have your own pieces you already like, you already have, and you can provide them, and then with the designer you can talk and decide what is important to put in the center, or to remain on the site for a while and to change for later. So yes, that's the idea. So here you at the French apartment, we can help you get some pieces with some patina, some of the history that the French designers and European designers have from their background. And even if it's sometimes new pieces, it has the whole story that you could find also, same if it would be a family pieces. And
it's wonderful to mix different styles like this. It's really wonderful. It makes people happy.
I'm sure that's what we try to suggest with our
I would say, yes. Thank you, Nadine. It's wonderful to hear you. I could hear you like talking like for hours about styles and interior designs and designers, and this is like amazing to me to hear you talking about it, because you, as I was saying,
Thank you, Claire.
It's the
It's
light.
really nice. The connection is not, the conversation is
I
not
know.
easy today.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is this. No, it's
We
okay.
made it.
But just so we can say our followers that next week we'll have a conversation with Vincent Collin to discuss about his design. So it was a pleasure to share those little tips from French interiors. And
thank you very much, Nadine. And we can wait to see Vincent Collin talking with you for your upcoming conversation at the French apartment next week, next Friday, 11:30 a.m.
That's fine. We'll meet you all, and follow. You can follow the Instagram account and see all the videos that we're doing every Friday.
And
that
YouTube.
Was a pleasure. Yes, and YouTube. Bye, Claire. Have a wonderful
goodbye, Nadine. Bye, everyone.
evening.
Bye.
Bye.